Gentlemen, Ryan, start us off. Why did Manchester City pummel Everton 3-0?
Because we're by far the better team, and we showed it in the game. We have the best fullback in world football, and you can caveat that by saying attacking fullback, but every good fullback
But
is
we've got the best defensive fullback in world football, so that's fine.
Yeah, Cancelo.
Who allows him to attack.
Rodri scored a thunder bastard, which you love to see. And the last goal in the game was a bit scrappy, a bit lucky, but was probably warranted off the performance in general. Everton didn't offer a lot going forward against us, and partially because obviously Demarai Gray went off so early with a injury, but I don't think they'd have necessarily troubled us anyway.
Now, while Ryan is part of the social media generation who believes that Rodri's shin from 30 yards was the best goal of the game, Rich is going to tell you differently, right, Rich?
Yeah. I think our first goal was the best goal scored in the Premier League this season. I think that ball from Cancelo is, you won't see many better passes. The technique to do that with your outside of your foot, to get that kind of speed and curl to get into that position. And then Raz, that's one of the best finishes he's done for City. That was not an easy chance. And that's probably why he scored it, because it wasn't an easy chance. Because when he got an easy chance, he missed it. But that was an exceptional goal. And I do think, and Ryan saying the best attacking fullback in world football in Cancelo, I think that's fair. But I do think that Walker is continually our most underrated player. I think it's the fact that he is such an exceptional athlete and defender that allows Cancelo to play virtually as a midfielder at times, because Walker can go and play as a third man in a back three. He's got the pace to cover, and I think that's allowing Cancelo freedom. So in a way, they're the perfect combination of fullbacks that if you had any other fullback than Walker playing, Cancelo wouldn't be able to do what he does.
Absolutely.
So I'm congratulating both of them, because
they were both very good
credit.
goals. They were both very good goals, and we've got very good centre backs and wing backs. João Cancelo's fantastic going forward. For some reason, Ryan's got an agenda against Kyle Walker, but Kyle Walker has consistently been the best fullback in world football for like 3, 4, 5 years, with the occasional brain fart. But who doesn't have a brain fart? Rodri, who is usually Mr. Brain Fart, has been so good recently. So good recently. Incredible DM. A lot of us thought that it would be impossible to replace Fernandinho, but Fernandinho can't even get a sniff anymore because Rodri is just Mr. Consistent. He makes everything tick. He recycles possession so well in that midfield. And our attack is just better for having Rodri in the team right now. Cal, how does it feel on the Everton side of the coin?
It's a strange one, because Man City are going to beat you, but like I said before, I want to just...
Manchester City for the 900th time.
Okay, Manchester City. You know they're going to beat you, but you want to just go out there and have a go. Like, what's so bad about having a go? And that's what annoys me. We just sit back and invite you. I'm sorry, like, them 3 goals were so avoidable today. And they were avoidable. Even Rodri's was avoidable. Any player does not try to side foot past the ball out of the box. You literally just say fuck it and just volley it out. Like, and then it's that. But the formation was wrong. But again, congratulations to you guys. You were amazing. There's no doubt about it. You were incredible. And obviously I wish you well for the rest of the season. But it weren't very good from us. It really wasn't good. Defensively, we were poor. Godfrey and Keane were just disconnected. We were letting your centre forward, which I think was Cole Palmer, completely have a field day for his first game in the Premier League, his first start. He was running in between our defence and was allowing Raheem Sterling to literally get in on goal every time he wanted to. For me, poor performance, Rob, and I'm hoping we get better. But
it's interesting that you just mentioned Cole Palmer there, because Cole Palmer obviously is one of our future stars.
Yeah,
going up against your established Premier League defence. So I don't know what that says about you and what it says about us, but
I think it proves as well. I think Manchester City don't play with fear. Doesn't matter who you play, you do not play with fear. Where Everton, we play with fear, and that's the problem. Like, Crystal Palace went to the Etihad, didn't play with fear, and they beat you. You can't play with fear against big teams because you'll get beat. They know that if you show a little bit of fear, they'll beat you. And today it was just awful. And I think this has been the problem for Everton for the last few years against teams like Man City. We go in expecting a loss, so it's if we lose, we lost. It doesn't matter. Instead of actually having a go and thinking we can nick this with one shitty goal, playing awful, getting a good goal, we win the game. We don't think like that. We think, oh, we're gonna get beat. Easy day off. There we go. And I think it proved that today. Yous were up for it and we weren't. It has nothing to do with that. Yous are a much better team. In my opinion, it didn't mean anything that yous have the more quality. Yous were up for it and yous wanted it. And the team that wants it will always win. And we didn't want it today, and that's the problem.
The way I'll put it is that whether you think, City are one of the best sides on the planet, and our strength is attacking midfielders, where, there isn't a team on the planet close to us in that, Foden, De Bruyne, Gundogan, Bernardo. We are incredible. And for me, what I'll say for Cole Palmer is he slotted into that attacking five as one of those, and he didn't look out of place. Now, that is a testament to the fact he has quality. It's a testament as well to the fact he has spent nearly, season and a half training with those players week in, week out, and come through an academy playing that style of football. But I think the fact he could come in alongside those players and not look out of place, not stick out, shows the immense quality he's got. I like his movement. I like his work rate. We've seen a little bit of his finishing more in the under 23s than for the main team. But yeah, it's just exceptional player, and he's a Wythenshawe lad. The two biggest probably hotbeds of Blues, Stockport and Wythenshawe. So if we've got the Stockport Iniesta, we need a Wythenshawe version as well. So that's fantastic.
Stockport Iniesta, Wythenshawe Xavi, maybe. Okay, what about Mr. Under the Radar, Bernardo Silva? We've not talked about him yet. Ryan?
He got his goal at the end of the day. It was a scrappy one. Palmer probably could have played him in normally rather than having it ricochet through two or three defenders. But yeah, it was another assured performance. I don't think he was our best player today like he usually is, but it was another top performance from him.
He just does everything that you want him to do. He doesn't always have to give a 10 out of 10 performance to do that, does he? I think that's the distinct difference.
I think what won you the game, and you might disagree, but with Bernardo Silva is one of those players who he won't score a lot of goals and get a lot of assists, but he creates space and time for everyone else. And you need 4 or 5 players marking him because he's so creative, and that's the problem. And he was dragging Michael Keane out so many times today, and Michael Keane couldn't deal with it, and that's why he's nearly got a penalty because of that, because Michael Keane couldn't deal with being dragged out by Sterling and Silva. And I thought Bernardo Silva was your best player, evidently. I said that off stream to Rick. I just thought he was incredible. We just couldn't get the ball off him, and he weren't giving a sloppy pass. He was just consistently your best player throughout the game. He's incredible.
Yeah. Couple more players that I want to talk about now. So let's talk İlkay Gundogan for a few seconds. Very resilient, did his job. He had a couple of good drives from midfield. All-round consummate professional as usual from İlkay Gundogan. McAtee, when he came on in the second half of that appearance, dribbled around the area, made Everton look simple. Very, very good. I hope he stays with the club. I hope that we get to see the best out of McAtee in the future. Very exciting having Foden, who again today proved that he's got the best first touch in world football. McAtee, Palmer, Foden. How phenomenal does that sound for our future? Wonderful. Stones and Laporte has been agreed in the past, the worst of the potential partnerships. We're forgetting Nathan Ake. We don't want to talk about him. He's not a centre half. He's not even a footballer. But Stones and Diaz has been our sort of preferential, back two. And today was Stones and Laporte, and they could have had deck chairs up, Brian.
Yeah, well, Everton offered pretty much nothing going forward, so they didn't exactly have a lot to do. It's when they're actually put under pressure where mostly Laporte, but as a partnership, the two of them sort of buckle. Everton offered little to nothing going forward, so I don't think it was necessarily an issue. I was confused when Diaz wasn't playing, and I did complain vocally in my household when I saw Laporte on the starting 11. But Yeah, Everton didn't offer much, so it wasn't an issue.
Why wasn't Diaz playing today?
I don't know.
It made no difference. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Zinchenko and Aki could have played at centre half today, and it wouldn't have made a difference. But why wasn't Diaz playing?
I think it is just generally down to how much he has played since the start of last season. He's played pretty much all the games for Portugal, played pretty much all the games for us. So, like a game like this, where he probably can be rested, Everton missing a good number of key players. Yeah, I don't necessarily.
I think that Laporte had an absolute mare against Palace. Like he had a shocker, and I actually think that Pep has played him twice since then. I think partly to get it out of his system, because I think Pep knows at any point Diaz or Stones could get injured, and you want to have that partnership, whether it's Stones and Laporte. I also wouldn't be surprised with the way Cancelo's playing if Pep's going to try three at the back again.
Any particular standout moments from today's game that you want to mention before we move on?
I just want to say before Laporte that I thought, to be honest, I don't think Laporte, when he was tested by Townsend in the second half, I thought Townsend was causing him a lot of issues when Townsend was on the ball. Like, there was a time when Townsend nearly got the ball in the box and Laporte brought him down. And to be honest, I think Laporte, he loses his head a little bit too easily in certain games. And I think if we had Dom up front today, Carvalho would have tested them two more. But
what about Emerick Laporte, though? How did he play? Any standout moments from the game that you want to mention that haven't been mentioned so far?
I think, I'm going to mention again what's already been mentioned. Watch Sterling's goal. Watch the pass. Anyone who talks about De Bruyne's passes, watch that pass. Unbelievable.
So easy. And that's the problem for me. Again, it's a great pass, but that, like, top centre-backs just don't let that happen. The gap between our two centre-backs, it was embarrassing. Sterling could have went to London. You know what I mean? There was that much of a gap and then still been there. It was such a big gap between Keane and Godfrey. And to be honest, it's good for Sterling's confidence, but it's one of them. For a fact, if Sterling doesn't have to think, he'll score every time. It's when he has to think, when he misses them chances.
Yeah, the one later in the game, or earlier in the game, I can't remember which, where he did have a bit more time and he did fluff his lines a bit. But
again, a key moment for me, Rob, and it's not really one moment, it's a bit of moments in the game. It's the capitulation when we lost Gray. I'm sorry, this has happened too many times to me. It happened against Villa, and it's happened again today. The capitulation when we lose one player and the whole thing falls apart, that shouldn't happen. It doesn't happen at Norwich, doesn't happen at the lower teams, so it shouldn't happen at Everton Football Club. It's complete capitulation again and again, and it's so frustrating.
I think another big week for us. I think, Everton, PSG, and then West Ham. So it's a tough week. I think it's the sort of week City normally thrive on. What's made me really happy is international breaks are normally our curse, and we went away on a great performance and we came back on a great performance. I think we start to put in a real run now. I think this is the time of the year when we're peaking. Rodri, after the game, he had a twinkle in his eye and he commented about how the players were all starting to hit their peak. So I think that's a very good sign. And the fact we can play like we are with a lot of players, with Jesus and De Bruyne and, I know you're not a fan, but Grealish, there's players there to come in. I think we're going to start motoring. I suspect in December and January, we're going to see City and Chelsea move away. I think Liverpool will be in a bit of a no man's land, comfortable in third, because they've had a lot easier fixtures at the start of the season. They've got a really tough run at Christmas, and then they lose half their first team to the AFCON. Our title challenge has started now, well and truly.
Absolutely. Big week ahead for City, and we'll see you in the next one. Let's go.